We want to welcome everybody to the call. So far, we've got 53 participants. Reach out to the people that aren't here yet, get them involved. We've got wonderful training this morning with none other than Bill Predebon. We get to listen to him on Tuesdays, and he always has a neat point of view. He is someone that's got a wealth of experience, and I just like his good, solid common sense. And I look forward to what he's got to present to us today. Bill, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty well, Ron. How are you?
Good, good. Everything's working well on your end, I'm glad to see.
Well, that's good to hear. It's always a question of mine whether or not this thing's going to be up and running perfectly. So,
yep, I've stopped taking it for granted on my end too.
yeah, no kidding. Right on. Well, thanks again for that awesome introduction. I'm glad you're here to keep us on track and get this thing up and running and allow everybody to get a chance to get together every morning during the week. So thanks so much again for taking care of this. All right, folks, welcome. Yeah, if you want to reach out and invite some more of your friends and family onto the call, of course, feel free to do so. We are only at about 55 or 56 folks right now, so we've got room for more. So welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited about training with you guys. I don't know if you were on the webinar last night, but it was pretty badass, I think. And the trainings from Michael and Christian, Christian's last 2 weeks have been just awesome. Dialing in the amount of time that we have left to get our orders in and to reach our goals. And of course, his Christian's training on, the founding fathers and stuff like that. Just a really cool, I think that everybody really goes out of their way to bring in a lot of value to everybody here. And so, and you guys, to be honest, you bring the value by being here on the call and listening in and then taking this to your team and taking what you learn and what you listen to out into the field and using it so you can invite new people. So anyway, let's get started. Based on some things that are going on with what we've got with Q4, with what we've got with the regional season, I decided to call this training a look in the mirror. So I'm going to do a little analysis, I guess, or a little self accountability, and you guys can compare to yourselves as well. It definitely starts with us, right? And I want to let you guys know. I'm going to go ahead and type this in there. 760-533-3141. That's my cell phone number. 760-533-3141. If you've got a question, or if you have not a topic necessarily, but just something that's on your mind, like that you're working on, that you're maybe isn't going the way you want it to go. Maybe you're working on a follow-up. I know there was a question exactly how Michael does the follow-up. Right now I'm typically doing about 2 follow-ups a week. So if you have a question about something specific that you want to discuss, it really I'm more than happy to jump off topic and answer that question. So just feel free to come off mute or type in the chat. But so I was thinking about it, like the regional here in Phoenix is at the end of the month, the 26th and 27th of October, and we've named our theme is Win from Within. And I think it's appropriate. I think it's spot on, because it starts with you, right? If you remember Bob's training last night, and in the middle of that thing, you start to question things when things aren't going the way they should. You start to question the system. Definitely question whether or not it's working, and then we tend to have some blame issues and we start to blame some other folks or blame some systems or blame this or blame that. And then we allow that to, I don't know, not necessarily sabotage, but just decrease our belief and limit our production. And so, when I look at where I'm at and what I've got left to do this year in my Renatus business, it does start with a look in the mirror. And I was thinking about it today. So, the other day I placed a few extra Craigslist ads in a few different cities. And I got a fair amount of calls. I like my ad. It typically pulls some good information, some good leads. And I haven't gotten to them all. And it's already Tuesday. And I placed the ad last week, I think on Thursday, and I haven't even called everybody back. And so right off the bat, like there's a lack of commitment to those calls, right? And so I know this, so I put stress on myself, and I know I've got to call some of these folks. I tend to a lot of times make the easier calls if you want. I follow up with people that I know I've already talked to, and typically that's because I'm busy and I have limited time, and I'm not in the perfect place at the perfect time, all set up to start a new call. But I was training on this last night on our team call, our local team call here, and what's interesting is, we forget, I think, quite often that when you experience a yes on the phone, when you make the call and you actually get someone to answer the phone on the other end of the line, and they seem to be responsive to what you're saying, especially if it's a cold lead, and they start to add, say a lot of the right things that you like to hear. They're like, wow, that's a good mindset, right? They're open to this. They're open to that. They're willing to do this. They're willing to do that. So you're excited about it. There's nothing better than getting a yes, getting someone to commit to the meeting, getting someone to open up a little bit and to understand what it is that you're talking about and the question-based selling that you're doing. And then, ultimately when you ask them to book them to a meeting and they give you their email and you're able to register them, I mean, that's a great thing. And all of a sudden that 5-minute call was not a big deal. It wasn't nearly as, bothersome as we thought it was going to be. And so the more we go ahead and make those calls, in my opinion, when I sit down and actually do it, like yesterday morning, I before I started working on all my properties, I went ahead and dove into the marketing and I started to respond to some calls. And again, when you get a good response, and it's not all the time, right? Especially when we're dealing with street signs and Craigslist and maybe some Indeed stuff, some of these job type advertisements that we're doing, we're fishing in a pond that is, folks that are looking for a job, folks that are in situations that are not financially stable. And so it's difficult. There's a lot of skepticism. Most of these folks have already responded to some other ads, or they've been to some other, opportunities where they have to pay, and their mindset is not, they're not looking to pay for anything. They're not looking to pay for upfront education. And it's not because they're not willing. It's just because it really hasn't been offered to them correctly, right? There is a way around. There is a way through that brick wall when it comes to some of these folks that are like, is this Renatus, or, I've seen this, or, is there an upfront fee, or any of those things, right? And those people are going to take more time, or they're really going to take the right person at the right time, asking the right questions. But all that aside, when I reach out to someone and I get a good response, it's a great feeling. In fact, it's better. It's a better feeling sometimes, and having someone show up at the event that appreciates the event it's a better feeling sometimes than a Tuesday or Friday when I get the check into my account, right? When I get the money wired in, because you know that you're helping somebody, and you know it just reinforces the belief that you've had the entire time. So, you know, if you're not receiving that and you're not achieving that, then maybe we're not making enough calls, or maybe we're just asking the wrong questions, or we're too excited, or we're not excited enough, right? So it starts with, you know, looking at how we're approaching it. You know, if for me, it's not that I'm not placing the ad, and it's not that I'm not getting the calls. A lot of times it's just like I'm just not making the calls. You know, on a second note, as I move forward in my business and I look at it and I'm taking a look in the mirror, it's interesting because my team and I usually pack the room. We usually fill our room. I'm directly related to about a third to one half of the room every single event that we have here in Phoenix, in Scottsdale rather, for Scottsdale Elevate, Scottsdale Renatus. And so I'm proud of that. I want to be over half all the time, which is where we're heading. But what's interesting is my sales are not reflective of that. My team is building. My team is growing. My team is starting to have some success. But it's taken longer than I wanted to. In fact, I look at it and I feel like I'm failing them a little bit, right? Like I should have been able to, I should have 5-star qualified individuals on my team several times over, with the amount of guests some of my guys have put in the room over the last year. With the quality of individuals that have come through the room, we've had some pretty good quality individuals, even from warm market on my team, and they haven't funded, they haven't enrolled. And so when I look at my own personal production and I look at where I'm at, you know, a lot of my leads, a lot of the people I put in the room come from Craigslist. And I like Craigslist. It's convenient for me. I used to look on Craigslist when I left my business, and that's how I found my job to be a loan officer when I first got started in real estate. So, you know, the reason I choose that over street signs or roadside signs is because I don't want to go out on Friday night and put out street signs, right? So again, if I look in a mirror, what am I willing to do, right? And again, it's literally, I don't know if excuse is the right word, but it could be part of it, right? But it's, you know, it's just what I'm willing to do. And so when I look at my lead source, right, when I'm fishing from Craigslist mainly, and then 3-foot rule is my other main lead source, right? I looked at this yesterday, and I don't spend enough time in my own personal warm market. So yesterday I reached out to my best friend. He hasn't responded yet, but I sent him a couple texts, and I haven't introduced him to Renatus in years, almost a decade, from when I first started. And you know, I look at where I'm at in my personal production, in the amount of sales that I wanted to have by now, right? So I think I'm at $51,000 for the year. I'm probably, if I was really looking at what I really wanted to do right now in the marketing, I should be at double that. I should be at 100,000. I would have thought by Q4, I would have minimum been over $80,000 mark and already qualified for a PIT nomination. And so I do expect, I got a roll-up sale in the pipe right now. That's about ready to fund. And then I have, you know, so I don't, knock on wood, anticipate not reaching that goal, but I'm stressing over it. You know, there's 65 odd days left to place an order to get paid in December. I mean, in this year. So when I look at my personal production, and I look at my personal sales, and I look at the amount of people I have in the room, the majority of the people I have in the room are definitely cold market leads and less qualified. Now, half of my team has come off Craigslist, and they are solid. I've got amazing people that I've never met before that are both passive sales and direct sales from Craigslist. And I love it. Every so often I get a really good individual or couple off of Craigslist, and I'll use it forever as long as I can keep making it compliant. Every time I change my ad so that it stays compliant, I'm going to use Craigslist. But if I want to be, serious about it, and I want to be accountable, I should look at what my own personal production does and my own leads, and look in there and go, I haven't approached warm market in quite a while, right? I have not written down a warm market list. I'm not going to, not necessarily trade shows like Bob talked about last night, but I'm not out at networking events that I'm either paying for or even free events. I'm not doing that. Why? Cool. Carla asked, and you guys, anytime I see a question, I'll jump right in and I'll jump back to my topic, but can you please share with us what section do you choose to post your ads on Craigslist, and what's your ad mostly about or look like? So I would make the ad your own from your heart, but I use the job section and I do real estate. I used to do the sales section a long time ago in Craigslist, but I don't do that. I just do real estate. My ad has a headline, and usually I use the $sign. And I used to be non-compliant, and it used to have a dollar frame, an amount of money part-time per month. So now, if you're going to put that as your headline, $signs, I would use the compliant $204 to $8,100 whatever per month or whatever it is. But in the body of the ad, so your headline is important, and I don't think it needs to be philosophical. Right? I think it needs to be A, quality. What I mean by that is A, personality driven, where someone sees it and they click on it because they like what it says in the beginning of the ad. They like the headline. That's why it used to say make $1,000 to $10,000 a month part-time. Well, I can't say that anymore, so I had to change it. But it's something that's, in my opinion, that is A, personality driven, where it pertains to making good money. And then in my body, it really talks about, what I'm looking for. So in compliance, mine says, I'm looking to build my real estate team. I'm looking to network with individuals that are interested in doing real estate. And then I ask a few questions. And so again, my ads always ask questions, and I ask several. Like you've heard me say this when I first get on the phone with somebody, and they're calling in, whether it's 3-foot rule or whatever, I start to ask them, what's got you interested in real estate? What are you doing right now? What is it about the ad that you liked? Tell me a little bit about yourself. What's going on in your life? And so I'll ask 3 or 4 different questions at the same time, and they can answer whichever one they like, whichever one they feel like they've already decided what they're going to tell me pretty much anyway, what they want to tell me and what they want to answer. So they can choose from any of the number one of those questions, and then the conversation can go from there. And so, I'll ask in my ad, have you ever thought about investing in real estate? Perhaps you've done real estate before, but maybe you want to, maybe you got a burn in real estate and you want to jump back in the game. So I'll ask a series of questions. Have you ever thought about maybe there's a missing piece? Maybe, and I don't say it all like that long, but they're direct questions. Like, have you ever thought about investing in real estate? Have you ever thought about getting back in the game of real estate? Perhaps that missing piece is working with individuals that have real estate experience that you can utilize to up your game. Something specific to the community. And then that's it. Tell them what I'm looking for, what it is that I'm doing. And then I simply ask a few questions. And then I say, call now, no experience necessary, no license required. Part-time, full-time. And then in my ad, you got to make sure that it's, it literally, I wrote out in the compensation that it is 100% deal-based or commission-based sales. You know what I mean? So they understand it's not a job. And and that it's 100% 1099. And then I also will qualify that when I talk to them on the phone. So that's a little bit about what my ad looks like. Yeah, it's pretty simple, and it's real estate based. I know one of the things I forgot to mention is I do say in my ad that I am a local practicing, seasoned real estate investor. Now, if you're like Bob showed last night, if you're not, you can literally make it personal and say we are, or I have joined, or my partners and I, or I'm affiliated with, whatever, however you want to word that, where you're 5-star and your team that you've joined, wherever you are in the country, in Vegas or Colorado or Seattle or wherever it is that you're at, Hawaii, and then you are you're using the words that attach you. Like my team, they can literally say my partner and I, because if they bring a deal to the table, if they are working on a deal and they just have questions, I'm their partner. I'll either buy the deal from them, I'll work with them on the deal, I'll fund the deal for them, or I will, or of course I'll just coach them on it. I mean, I'll just help them, and they can have the whole deal. They don't owe me anything on a deal. So they know that they legitimately and legally, without being deceitful, can say, hey, my partners and I are looking for deals, or are practicing real estate investors. We're working in the community right here. And that's what we see on our ad. So that's my suggestion. If you've got my number there, if you want more information on my ad, I use it every single week. I place my ad every 2 weeks at least. And I get good quality leads, and I usually get, 5 to 10 calls every 2 weeks. But back to looking at the mirror is that, with the number of people that we put in the room, there's, if I look at my list, you guys, I carry it around with me. As you said, I'm not a computer spreadsheet guy. I'm a handwritten guy, and shit's written down on, stuff is written down on on my paper, and I take it with me all the time. And so I'm constantly looking at it, but you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of leads and hundreds of calls. And so there's a lot of time spent, right? And then there's still follow-ups. There's still follow-ups because, a lot of times the Craigslist folks and the street sign folks, the people that we're reaching out to, they have a desire. They know there's something better, but their resources are limited. Their funding options are few and far between, but there's still a follow-up, and they're still getting through the funding follow-up. And then there's, trying to get the order placed, or trying to find an angel investor, or working with them on a weekly basis and getting them back to another event so their belief system can go up. The more times they go to the meeting, the more belief, and then something might pop where they finally realize they have the courage to ask a distant relative for the money or something like that. But my point is, there's a lot of time spent on folks that most likely in this time in their life will struggle to fund, and then will fade off. And some fade off quicker than others, which is fine. It's even better, if you will, at this time in their life. It's not perfect for them to get started. It's not ideal. And so the sooner they realize that and come to grips with that, the better you are, because you can go spend time with someone who does have the willingness to find the money, right? But we still go through this time. So we spend a lot of time, as you remember Bob talking about last night, with the quality of, and again, it's not the quality, it's just a person that's able to fund, a raw individual, somebody that's not only ready and not only willing, but they're also able. And we talk about those clients. So you guys, there's no question that the reason warm market works is because we know that these folks are ready, right? So, I mean, if you're 21 or in your 20s or late teens or whatever it is, or even in your mid 20s, and you've got a roommate who doesn't pay rent, but's living on your couch, and you're like, dude, you should come to the meeting with me. The odds of him funding are not very good. The odds of him even being willing are not very good. He's not interested necessarily in changing his life right now. right? Unless, of course, you know the guy comes from a really good family and that he's talking all the time about someday he's going to make it real estate or something like that, then maybe you can provide that solution for him. But you understand what I'm saying. With our warm market, with people that are in a network that are, are out trying to better themselves. When Michael Huggins talks about Toastmasters, when you talk about BNI groups and stuff like that, these are business owners. These are people looking to make more money. They're people looking to expand their business. Obviously they're qualified. When you're buying leads that are $5 a lead off the internet, these are people that have opted into some sort of business from home, or they've opted into some sort of real estate education, and you're paying for that opted in lead where they didn't buy whatever they opted into, and some spider went out and got them, and some lead source out of the Midwest captured that lead, and they're hot. They did it within the last 24 to 48 hours, and then you buy it, and then you go hit them up. Hey, I see that you looked into this, and you'll have a script on what you would say. That lead is a qualified lead because you know that they are looking, and you know that they already understand that stuff costs money, that startup businesses online, opportunities, if you want to call them that online, those opportunities out there are not free. So you have a qualified lead. And then in your warm market, in my warm market, when I look at it, I'm like, man, I know that my best friend up in Colorado has the money. I know that he likes real estate. I know that he owns his own business, right? I also know his hiccups, and I know what the objections are going to be. So, but if I can overcome those objections, he could easily fund. He could fund in a day. I don't have to sit there and spend 30 minutes or 3 hours on funding in hopes that he's going to go find an angel investor that's going to lend him 20 grand. And I have a list of people like that, but I don't talk to that list. I assume that they're going to see my Facebook, and when the time is right, and that's not even true either. I got to look in the mirror and go, that's not even true. I don't even assume that. I just don't. I don't even, if I had to think about why I don't, maybe it's because I don't know how to approach them. But that's not true either, right? Because we've been on these calls for a year. We know what to do. We watch the training. We've seen other people do it, and we've done it before. And our 5-star's done it before. So that can't be true, right? I know what to say. I know what questions to ask, right? So is it my belief? I doubt that, right? So I've really got to look at why it is I don't go back and reapproach warm market and people that I know that are qualified to do this, right? And why wouldn't I want them in my business? Why wouldn't I want to work with them, right? Why wouldn't I want to share this information with people that I care about the most, right? That are, I would love to fly up to Vail and spend time with my old buddy that was my roommate for almost 10 years when we were pro skiing together, right? So it's just crazy, but it's crazy the way we choose. We have choices every day, and we choose to avoid what could be the easiest sales we'd have, at least the most qualified sales that we'd have, right? So I, for one, over the next 3 months, and really now I'm down to 2 months, have got to have been looking at my lead sources and determining on what I'm going to do to increase my productivity, personal productivity. If we think about it, I wrote this down. Facebook obviously is a very powerful attraction marketing model, right? Now with Facebook, you guys, I'm not going to really teach on it because I don't do it as often as I can, which is my whole point to this part. But you've got to really be in compliance. If you're posting numbers, if you're posting deals, you've got to have the disclaimers in there. So even with your attraction marketing, let's just make sure we're staying in compliance and doing everything we can to, like Bob said, that he's actually said it perfectly, right? When that guy mentioned that thing about the street sign, I thought that was a really good point, is that he said, in case you weren't on there, he said, come flip homes with me. And that's a really attractive sign. I mean, come learn to flip homes with me. And the guy that put the sign up probably meant very well. He means that he would flip a home with them, or, there's the intention would be there, but that's not really like he's going to be flipping every single house. He's going to hire the guy, and that guy's going to work with him and flip houses with him. That's not the way it is. He's going to teach him or show him the way to teach him show him the way he can learn to flip houses, and they can do it together as a team, even though they might be doing individual flips. That's a completely different story. So it's a little deceptive. So the spin around was learn to flip homes and make large profits. So that's a little bit less deceitful, even though it wasn't even meant to be deceitful. So when we're doing these posts, we've really got to be genuine in even in our Craigslist ads as to what we're saying. You know, when I post a Craigslist ad and I put in there, you know, learn from my experiences, I mean it. Anybody that uses my ad that's on my team, they're going to roll up to me unless they're 5-star, right? And then I'm going to oversee them anyway. And then also anybody direct to me, I'm going to, if anybody on my team or anybody direct to me or anybody roll up to me wants to do real estate, I literally will, they'll be able to share my experiences, right? And I offer that to anybody anyway, as it doesn't matter if you're on my team or not, but my point is they're going to get my personal real estate attention. So, you know, I can be congruent and non-deceitful, saying, you know, I'll work with you to some extent, but I'm not the mentor and I'm not the coach and I'm not the trainer. I'm not the practicing educator. So I have to make it clear that that's not me. So I don't use the word like coach. So, you know, when I look at farther in the mirror, deeper in the mirror, or I should say longer in the mirror, you know, I was talking about a little bit about this last night. Oh, I know what I was saying about Facebook. Let me finish that thought. You know, I thought about this walking my dogs this morning. It's dark out, by the way, when I'm walking my dogs already. I swear to God, it went from 110 degrees to 65 or 70, which is actually cold in Phoenix in the morning. I mean, it wasn't cold, but I actually put a sweatshirt on today for the first time at 5:30 in the morning. But when I was walking my dogs, I was thinking about Nate Lambert, right? And the guy had $100,000 a month, right? I haven't made $100,000 in an entire year in the marketing. So I was thinking about, you know, great old Nate, and you know, this guy's an inspiration. And I remember his, you know, a lot of his Facebook posts. You know, the guy really took it seriously about the Facebook attraction marketing. And I look at myself and I post every week, maybe 2 weeks. But I don't post every day. I definitely don't share enough personal stuff, like just regular stuff. And then I throw in a fix and flip, right? I mean, I've got 5 fix and flips on, you know, 3 of them on the market, 2 are sold, 2 are in being fixed up right now, and 1 I just bought. So like, it's crazy. I don't post enough. I don't spend enough time. And so I looked at it, I'm like, well, why don't I do that? It's because I don't take the time. I don't take the time every day to wish everybody on Facebook a birthday. And I actually told myself this year I was going to do that. And I haven't, right? So it's not that I can't, it's not that I don't know how, and it's not that I don't have the same amount of time that everybody else has in the day. I choose not to do it. I put it off. It's something I don't enjoy that much doing, is posting on Facebook all the time. I think that there's more important things to do. And so I choose not to put that into my daily routine. It's literally a choice. And it's stupid. Doesn't make any sense. I know that if I do it right and get in the routine and make it a habit, then it would be beneficial to my marketing. I would probably have more leads that are qualified raw leads based on my marketing campaign on Facebook if I did it. Yet I still don't do it. So here we are, all of us sitting here going, I know that if I do this, this would be the result, because that's the result of what the leaders are telling me, what Bob Snyder's telling me, and what I've witnessed across the nation when I go to nationals, regionals, and my local meetings. I see that this is happening. So we're not stupid. We know what's going on. We know it works, right? Nate Lambert did it, did some very strategic marketing with his car and things like that, and had $100,000 a month from Facebook. I went actually so far as to imagine on my walk enrolling 10 sales, like literally funding 10 credit cards in 1 month. Like, fathom that, you guys. I mean, how cool, right? And then you take the top 10 leaders, top 20, you know, and they're putting in 3, 4, 5 orders a month, 6 orders in a month. And yet I don't do what it is that it takes when I know what it is that it takes, right? I'm not sitting here. Well, I'm going to today, as soon as I get off this phone, making posts on Facebook, right? I don't revitalize my warm market list every week or every day. I don't sit here and go, oh, who's in my phone that I haven't called in a while, right? And sometimes I'll even look at it and I'll skip over them. I purposely won't call them, or text them. For some reason, something will come up in my head about this particular individual. I'll prejudge them, like we're taught not to do. Don't prejudge. Make your warm list. Don't prejudge. Just pick the top 25 that you'd want to be working with, right? Simple as that. Yet somehow, humanly nature, I sit there and I go, all right, I'll call him later. Yeah, she's awesome, but she's got her husband who probably doesn't like me, or whatever. I don't know, whatever crap that I come up with in my head, and I skip over them, right? It doesn't make any sense. We literally know what works. So for me, I'm taking a look in the mirror, and I have to decide over this last quarter, what differences I'm going to make this quarter than I haven't made in the last 3 quarters, right? Because here's the thing, and I'm guessing, I'm going to go out on a limb and say all 85 of you that are on this line are doing your business. You're working your business. You're going to meetings. You're getting on this call. So you're obviously, this is only one call at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. So you're probably on, nightly calls. You're on nightly meetings. You're on property tours. You're doing the work. You're placing an ad. You might put out some street signs. You might be working with your 5-star directly. You're in the EMT. Whatever you're doing some stuff. I guarantee it, right? So you're working your business. But there's definitely things that we look back and we know that we haven't done. And I know that I haven't done. So for me, I'm going to look at the last 3 quarters, and I know what I'm missing, and I'm going to do some things that are a little bit different, that are going to be different this quarter. When I looking in the mirror a little deeper, I look at my business, right? So I don't know what it is that you guys do for a living. Perhaps some of you are full-time Renatus, and that's all you do, which is awesome. But perhaps many of you have a family, you have friends, you have sports, you have your work, you have a daily commute, you have a lot of things in life going on. And therefore, it's easy, it's human nature for me in my business to follow what I know best. What I know best is real estate. What I've been doing for the last 10 years is real estate. I know that if I flip 5 houses a month, 5 houses at a time, every quarter, or every 3-4 months, or every 6 months, that when I do 10 to 20 deals a year, and I do a few wholesales, and then I purchase a property, I know what my income looks like. I know that it's several $100,000 to up to $500,000 in a year, and that I'm going to be just fine doing that, right? And so, but I'm busy, right? And I'm overworked, and I get stressed. All morning already, I'm texting my tile guy for this backsplash, and he doesn't speak any English, and I don't speak much Spanish at all. So the communication is just completely shot. And I have no idea if he's picking up the tile at Floor and Decor today or not. I changed it last night at 9 p.m. I changed the color of the backsplash and went and got it differently from a different store. And I don't have time to go to get it today. And he's supposed to be there at 9 a.m. And so I'm in my business. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I'm in my business. I'm in my business all day, every day. My desk is just a pile of paperwork, right? I put off the things that I don't like to do for last sometimes. And I know that when I sit here and I can run numbers on a deal and possibly get myself into a $10,000 wholesale deal or a $20,000 flip, that I'm going to choose that over making my new list and making some calls to some of my warm market, right? And building my team and building my personal production, which, it comes from within. It starts from within. It starts with our own personal production. Your team will follow your lead in what you do versus what you say. And so personal production is number one. And yet I choose to stay in the business. I want to be on the pit. I want to get to pack status. I want to get to $250,000 a year or more in the marketing. I want to do this. This has been my desire for the last 2 years since I got back into marketing Renatus and really took it seriously, join the leadership team, and do all these things and started building a team. And I've done a decent job, right? And you have done a decent job. You can look at yourself and go, I've done this. This is what I've done. This is who I've already enrolled. I've gotten 5-star. I've made 10 grand, whatever it is that you've done. I've made 50 grand. You've made more than Bill, whatever it is. I'm sure there's people on this line that have definitely made more money than me in the marketing. And so whatever the case is, you've done a good job. You've done a great job, but you can do better. I know that I can do better, and I know I can do more because I'm not doing what I want to do. But I literally choose, looking at the damn mirror, I literally choose not to do more. So for me, this fourth quarter, I haven't written down the goal. I probably will today on what number I want to reach. I'm not going to write down a $100,000 goal for me to go to France, although I'd like to do it because it's not in my time frame. I do sometimes go on a Sunday and do a follow-up, but Sundays for me, I spend with my wife, and I work 6 days a week pretty much, and so I try not to work on Sunday. I'm in my late 40s, so I worked 3 jobs for a long time, and but I can still work smarter, I can still work better, and I can still do it in the same amount of time and not have to do follow-ups on Sunday. That's entirely up to you guys. But I could be scheduling far more follow-ups during the week. I am willing to work at night when normally I don't want to work at night. I am willing to get up a little earlier. Well, I can't get up much earlier than I already do, but in order to get things done so I can have follow-ups during the day or in the evening. So my point is, I have to look within and determine, where it is I'm spending my time. I've obviously, if you all look at yourself and that you've done some good things, you've been marketing your butt off for the last 9 months. You've pushed it more this year than you had before, or, maybe you're brand new and you're just getting out of the gate and you feel like, you're attending all the events and you're studying the education and you're doing the things you're supposed to do and you're torn between real estate and marketing and all those types of things. And I get all that, right? But whatever it is, for me, it's really about a quality of lead. It's really about the leads that I know are going to be the systems that I know and the work that I know is going to give me the result. I know what it is. We all know that. We're on these calls and we're at the trainings and we're at the events. We know what to do. There's no secrets anymore. There's no, if I could just say this thing the right way or say that or place this ad the right. None of that's true. It's all there. It's simply talking to more people and talking to more qualified people and getting in front of the information. There's some people that I'm working with right now that are in the pipeline. A couple of them more market, a couple of them Craigslist, and the right people in front of the information. It only takes 2 or 3 or 4 touches, and they're there. Even after number 1, they're like us, they're like me, they're like you, and they were ready. It was just a matter of solidifying that belief that they weren't just acting on an impulse. And by their second or third event, they're like, okay, I'm in, find me the funding. I need to find the money. I want the money. Where does everybody fund? How do you do this? What's next? What do I do? Right? It's the folks that aren't ready, that aren't able, and that really, it's not their perfect time in life to see this information, that we chase them down because they say that they want it, but none of their actions show us that they want it. Yet we spend more time with them than the people that really we should be spending more time getting new people in front of the information instead of spending so much time with people that we want to do this, that we think that want to do it, that we've already got in front of the information and are telling us sort of that they want to do it. And we spend all that time with them instead of getting someone new who really wants to do it. If I spend more time getting new people in front of the information, then I'm going to have a far better opportunity to have people fund at the rate that I want them to and meet my goals and make the money that I want to make and change the lives that I want to change when I put the right people in front of the information, and not spend so much time trying to chase down people or work with people that I've already put in front of the information. So I've already done that part of the work, and I don't want to let them go. And I don't want to have to go do more work talking to a new person and then starting the whole system all over again. Instead, I'm going to stick more with the people that I'm working with already, which is the exact opposite of what we should be doing. So for me, looking in the mirror, it's literally about spending less time in my business of real estate, sacrificing some guaranteed money that I know is there, and going after what it is that I truly desire, which is changing people's lives with the opportunity of Renatus. And yeah. So with that, you guys, I got 7:53. Any thoughts or questions? Anybody want to type up in the chat? Again, feel free to contact me if you ever need to. My name is Bill, and this is my cell phone number is 760-533-3141. Yeah, and so I look forward to the quarter. I look forward to making it happen, and it's going to start with me. It's going to start with any changes I make today, and no matter what where you're at, no matter what you've done so far this year, no matter what you haven't done so far this year, no matter anything in the past, the coolest thing about this business that I love more than anything is that you can start today. You can start right now, and you can make a commitment, and within the next 15 to 20 days, you can have a $10,000 roll-up sale or qualifying sale, or you can have a $10,000 check. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome that we can look at ourselves. I can look in the mirror and go, I know what to do. I've been trained. It's awesome. You guys, Landon Stokey, dude, you're so awesome, man. Thank you so much. Michelle, thank you so much. So cool to hear you guys say that stuff. I love you guys. I mean, I literally am right there in the damn trenches with you all. And we all aspire to be, like Christian and Michael and John O'Neill and Scott and Nancy and Landon and Nate and everybody up there on the pit. And so we're all going to be there, you guys. And I appreciate you guys listening to me. I just speak from the heart. And, I just think about these trainings every week, getting on them and just giving you guys best content as I can, just based on what it is that I do every day. And I'll tell you, if anybody has ever, a real estate question about real estate and you need some help with it, you can always call me, because that's my day-to-day. Tyler, Jonathan, Bernadette, you guys, thank you so much. Hera, I really appreciate everybody's comments, and I really appreciate you guys listening. It means so much to me. So Rebecca, awesome. Golden as well, you guys. William, you're welcome, sir. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your day. It's 7:55. I love speaking on this. Matt, you're welcome, buddy. You guys, best of luck. Let's really do something different this next 2 months to make a difference. And let's set one of your goals for Michael's prizes and go for it, man. I mean, Michael's awesome, and it's just a blessing to be on these calls and an honor to speak to you guys every week. So thank you so much for being on this call. With that, I will go ahead and end the meeting. You've got my number. Michelle, you're so welcome. Lamar, you're welcome. Thank you, guys. Have a great, great, great day. Make it awesome, and I'll talk to you, everybody, soon. I'll see you next Tuesday. Make it a great week. You've got my number. Take care, guys.